Hi, everybody. So you should be all coming in now, I think. We should be getting some attendees appearing in a minute. We've had lots of registrations for this one. Over 200 people have registered. So we're expecting a busy set of participants, which is fantastic. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes for everyone to come in because there are so many people that have registered. And so while we're waiting, if it's okay with everybody, if you would like to let me know in the chat where you're from, what languages you teach, if you're primary or secondary, that would be fantastic. I've got two screens here, which if you haven't got two screens, I would really recommend getting two screens because they're so useful. Also in the chat, if you make sure that you click on the option that says hosts and panelists and make sure that you've selected everyone, if that is a possibility. You want to be writing to everyone so everyone can see the chat. So yeah, so feel free to say hello. Thank you for that lovely rainbow there, Agnes. That's lovely. Be lovely to know as well if we have some people who are not from the UK, from further afield. That would be really cool as well. It's always fun to connect with people from all over the world at the Language Show, particularly the virtual version. There we are. So we have people from Belgium, from Switzerland, from Sweden, from the Basque Country in Spain. Amazing. That's amazing. Ireland, Portugal. So it's a real mix of people. That's really lovely. So yeah, we'll just wait in a couple more minutes. So this session, as you know, is around useful Chrome extensions for language teachers. A lot of the ideas could be used in any subject. They're around sort of productivity and what have you, but a bit later on in the presentation, there'll be particularly language specific ones, but I thought I would just put together a whole set of different Chrome extensions, which I use on a regular basis, which you should find really useful as well. So yeah, so get yourselves comfy, and I've got a glass of water with me, as I normally do. For those people that have seen me many times, I always have a pint of water with me. You can see that the sun is still coming through my window. Those people that came to the first or the second session that I did today. So this is my third one. I've never spoken 3 times at the Language Show. I've done 2 sessions, but never 3. So I'm very grateful to Jonathan Scott for giving me the opportunity of presenting 3 times, particularly on the Saturday. And it's really lovely to be here. So we'll just wait one more minute, if that's okay. Well, in fact, it is 3 minutes past 2, according to my clock here. So I think we'll make a start, and then I will, if need be, spend another minute or so at the end if we run out of time officially, according to the program, which will be fine. So we've got plenty of people in the room right now, which is lovely. I'm going to share my screen like this, and we'll make a start. So I can look at the chat the whole time. If you do have a question for me in the chat, feel free to do so. So we're looking at Chrome extensions. So before we start, just let you know that Chrome extensions will work in the Chrome web browser and also in the Microsoft Edge browser, but they will not work on iPads. So these ideas will work on laptops, on Macs, on desktops, on Chromebooks, and those sorts of devices, but not on iPads. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to be teaching you lots of new things that you don't know about. For those people that haven't seen me before, then I've spoken at the Language Show, I think, every year since 2005. The last 3 years, I've been taking part in the virtual version, which has been amazing for connecting with people from literally all over the world. My background is I was a languages teacher for 13 years. I taught secondary school level for 3 years, and then 10 years at middle school level on the Isle of Wight, which is where I still live. And I've lived here for well over 20 years now. When I taught at middle school level, I was teaching 9 to 13-year-olds, and then prior to that, secondary school age students. So I have upper primary and secondary school age experience. And for the last 13 years or so, I've been an independent languages consultant, meaning that I could travel all over the world and run training and speak at conferences in places like Australia, New Zealand, North America, South America, all over Europe and the Middle East. And as a result of the pandemic, I've had to pivot and do lots of training online, as well as some face-to-face sessions as well. Particularly, I've been going to Dublin recently. Those people that follow me on Twitter will know that I've done about 9 courses this year and I've got about 16 planned for next year, which are Erasmus Plus funded programs, and working with teachers from literally all over Europe. So that's been a huge amount of fun. My Twitter account here, talking of Twitter, is at Joe Dale. I've now got about 34,500 followers. So if you're not following me and you'd like to, feel free to do so. Feel free to tweet during the session as well. And my email address is joedale@talk21.com. So again, if you'd like to email me after the session, feel free to do so. As you know, we are recording the session, and as per normal, I'll be sharing the session as well with you, the presentation with you, which is a Google Slides presentation, which has all the links to all the extensions I'll be referring to. So let's make a start. This is a little snapshot of some of the things I'll be talking about. some of the extensions which I'm using literally on a day-by-day basis, which is a lot of fun. And let's get into it. And first of all, talk about what is an extension. So if you don't know, an extension is a type of program that can enhance and modify the functionality of the Chrome or Edge browser. So it just adds little bits of code which allows you to do things that you couldn't do otherwise. And it can really improve, in my opinion, productivity, as well as give lots of language learning opportunities as well. As you can see, I've written as well, by using extensions, you can customize Chrome or Edge with the features that you like. And that's really, really key. So it is true to say as well, that if you have too many extensions installed and you don't have a lot of RAM on your machine, that it can slow down your machine. I'm lucky enough to have 16 gigs of RAM on my new PC. Well, I say new, I've had it for 2 years now, which means that I can have as many extensions as I would like to. But that is something to bear in mind as well. Okay. To get started with adding extensions to Chrome, to begin with, what you do is you go to the Chrome Web Store, just do a search for Chrome Web Store and it will come up. And then in the white box here, you put in the name of the extension that you want to install. You can then find it, make sure it's the correct extension. In relation to this presentation, I would recommend that you click on the links, and that will definitely take you to the right page, as opposed to searching, because it might be that the word is slightly different or the wording is slightly different, and then you install the one that I've not recommended. So that's how you install an extension on Chrome. And then in Microsoft Edge, all you do is you go to the Chrome Web Store, and you'll notice that there's a button here that says allow extensions from other stores. If you enable that, it means you can then install extensions within Microsoft Edge, which is a really nice feature, I think. So it's not just for those people that use Google or the Chrome browser. You can install these extensions on other browsers as well. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to point out as well is once you've installed the extensions, you'll notice this is in the Chrome browser, that you get a little jigsaw piece here. And if you click on that, it will tell you all the extensions that you have installed. And if you want to be able to see the extensions live on the extensions bar along the top in Chrome, then you need to pin that particular extension by clicking on the blue pin, or well, it's a white pin if you haven't pinned the extension. But if you click on that, it will then pin the extension, so it will always be in your browser. And of course, it means that, let's say you've pinned it on your PC and then you go to your Mac in the Chrome browser, that extension will be there. So everything is synced together, which is fantastic. So if you don't know, that's an important point to say as well about managing your extensions. And if you want them all always to be there to click on, you can just click on the pin. You don't have to have them all readily accessible. For example, the ad block one, I've got this one pinned there, but I don't actually have to have that pinned. It will just do its magic in the background. So that's good to know as well. Okay. The other thing I would recommend as well is that you make sure that you have the updated version of Chrome, be it that you have the latest version of the browser, be it Chrome or be it Microsoft Edge. In the Chrome browser, what you do is you click on the 3 dots top right. You then go to help and go to where it says about Google Chrome, and then that will tell you whether you've got the latest version or not. If you don't have the latest version, it will then automatically allow you to update it from there. And it always is good practice to make sure you have the latest version, because it might be that some things are not working because of the fact you haven't updated your browser. I appreciate if you're using a school device, that might be something you can't do personally, but you could ask the person in charge of IT at the school or in charge of these sorts of things to update your browser so it is the latest version. Okay. Right, so let's get started. So the first Chrome extension we're going to have a look at is called Cluster. If you haven't heard of these as well, feel free to write in the chat if some of these are new to you. I'm sure that some of them you do know, but this one is Cluster. Now, this probably works best if I actually show you live how it works. So if I go to my Chrome extension bar, which is all the way along here, the one I'm looking for is this one. And what this one allows you to do, it allows you to see all the different tabs you have open. Now, please don't judge me when I do this. So as you can see, I've got 2 windows open. That's quite good for me. I normally have more than 2 open, but you can see here, I can see all the different things I've got open. And if I want to close anything, I can just click on the little X and it will then close. And I can then, as you can see, scroll up, scroll down. I've actually got 3 windows open. There we are. But it just allows me to see exactly what I have open. And if, for example, there's an audio tab playing, and I'm not exactly sure where that is playing from, by going to Cluster, then I can see a little loudspeaker icon appearing if there is audio, but also if there is audio playing in the Chrome browser, then a little musical note will appear here, top right, and I can click on that, and that will allow me to see exactly which tabs have audio or video playing, which is really useful. So Cluster is a really good one for managing your tabs and also closing tabs which are maybe slowing down your machine or not, not needed in your setup. This next one I really, really like. This one is called Copy All URLs. Again, if I just show you how it works, that's probably best. So at the moment, I've only got the 1 tab open, but let's imagine I opened a couple of tabs here. Let's open Twitter, and then I'll click here and I'll open, I don't know, Google Docs, let's say. So I've got 3 tabs open. Let's imagine I've done a bit of a surfing session and I found the tabs that I want to keep. I can set it up so that when I reopen Google Chrome, that it will remember all the tabs that I've had open. But if you go to this extension, which looks like an umbrella called Copy All URLs, what you do is you click on that and it says copy and paste. So all you do is you click copy, and then as a result of that, you can then paste all those links all in one space. Can you see what that's done? So in other words, what I've done is I've been able to copy the links for all the tabs that are currently open in this particular window and paste them into one particular place. So I could, for example, I could paste that into the chat. I could paste that in any sort of document. And then if the students don't have to have this installed, of course, they could just open each one up individually, or you could click on it like this and make all the tweets, all the links live. But if you don't want to do that, what you can do instead is go to the extension again, and this time click paste. And so because although there's a copy to the clipboard, if I click paste, what will happen is it will open up those tabs afresh in a Windows session. So in other words, what you could do is you could either use this as a way of remembering all the tabs that you had open in a particular session, or you could give the list of links to your students, and instead of asking them to make each one live, or you make them live, they could just copy them, click the paste option within the Copy All URLs extension, and then they'll just have all the tabs open that you want them to look at in that particular session. So there we are. I can see Anna saying, great to see someone with more tabs open than me. Yeah, it is very handy. I agree, Rebecca. Yeah. So Triz is saying, can we see the screen bigger? Do you mean as in my if I go full screen? Is that what you mean? Make it bigger like that? Or I'm not sure. Anyway, let's close some of these. Okay. Well, for this, I mean, you just need to see that the links are there. In relation to making the screen bigger, that would be under the view menu, and then go to let's have a look. Show. I can't even remember right now how you hang on. It's here, isn't it? Fit. It's under fit. There we are. That's what you mean, isn't it? So you go to the view menu. Sorry, not the view menu. You go to here and you just click to fit. So that's much bigger now. There we are. Okay. Right. Let's close some of these tabs that I don't need open, like that. Okay. And let's carry on. Okay. Right. So the next one we're going to have a look at is called numbered tabs. And this one is also really good. If I just do Control-Shift-T, Yep, that's right. Control-Shift-T is a keyboard shortcut as well, which will reopen a closed tab. Control-Shift-T. And with the numbered tabs extension installed, which you don't need to have in your Chrome extension bar, you just need to know that it works with up to 9 tabs at the same time. Let's imagine I want to go on to tab 2. I just press Control and then 2, and it jumps straight to tab number 2, or Control 3, and it's jumping to tab 3, or Control 1, and it's jumping to tab 1. In other words, if I have up to 9 tabs open, I can navigate myself between the different tabs by using Control plus the number of that particular tab. So that's another way of being able to navigate easily through your presentation, let's say. On that point, another little trick as well is if I click slideshow, I'm on slide 10. Let's imagine I wanted to go to slide 5, let's say. I could press 5 on the keyboard, press enter, and it would take me straight to slide 5. Or go back to what I was just on, press 1, 0, and press enter, and it takes me straight to slide 10. That works in PowerPoint as well for those people that don't know that in slideshow mode. So that's numbered tabs. This one is called One Tab. And the way this one works, I won't show you this one live, but basically what you do is you click on the One Tab icon in the extension bar, and it just collapses all the different tabs into one tab, as the name suggests. And then from there, you can share all the tabs easily with other students. So similar to what I was showing you there with the copy all URLs extension, you could just share the link instead if you wanted to. But by doing it this way, what it allows you to do is it allows you to collapse all the tabs so they're just in the one tab. And it might be, for example, if you have a tab open which is using a lot of system memory, then by doing that, it can speed up your computer as well. So that's another option called One Tab, which is can be very useful. This one I find can be very useful from time to time. It's called One Click Extensions Manager. I'll just show you live right now. So if I go to here, it's this one here. It's the one with sort of like the green background with a little blue jigsaw piece. If you click on it, again, please don't judge me. These are all the ones in bold are all the ones which I've got installed on my browser, and all the ones which are not installed, or they are installed, sorry, but they're disabled, are the ones which are grayed out. So let's imagine I wanted to, I don't know, go to Calm Twitter, for example. If I click on that one, it will then disable it. And then if I want to add it again, I just click on it again, and it now enables it. Calm Twitter, by the way, what it does is it allows you to remove all the, but let me just show you. Can you see here, this is all blank. And the reason it's blank is because in Calm Twitter, you can get rid of all these like latest stories about whatever Elon Musk has done at the moment. And you can avoid that. So it means you can then focus on what you want to do. For example, read your timeline. But if you have that open, then you could be, I'm not saying everyone is like this, but you could be distracted by that. And by using the Calm Twitter extension, which is this one here, it removes it. So that's a nice way of managing extensions. And also, if you find that your computer has suddenly slowed down because of the fact that you were running a certain extension which you've just installed, then if you disable it, you can see if that makes a difference. That's a nice way of checking, I think, with your all the extensions you have installed. So it's called One Click Extensions Manager, and it's really useful, I think. Let's carry on. Right, this one is incredibly useful. This is called Behind the Overlay. Again, if I just show you this one live, if I go to the website called Radio Times, which for those people who are not in the UK will not know that this is a place to go if you want to know what's on the TV. The reason I'm going to this website as opposed to one in the target language is because I know that you get like a little overlay that will appear in a minute, and there it is. So if you find these sorts of overlays really annoying, what you can do is you can click on this icon here, which is called whatever it's called. It's called, let me remind myself, Behind the Overlay. And if you click on it, as if by magic, it gets rid of the pop-up. That will not help you from behind a paywall, of course, but if you have these pop-ups, you can just get rid of it by clicking on Behind the Overlay. And it means you don't have to go through that whole thing about giving permission and legitimate interest and all that stuff as a result of GDPR. You can just remove the pop-up, which is a great time saver. I'll just keep that one open just in case I need to show something around different tabs in a second. Okay, so let's carry on. So that's Behind the Overlay. The next one is self-explanatory. It's called AdBlock. It's really, really useful. You just have it installed, and if there are any annoying ads on the page, then it will just remove them. For example, if you're a fan of Wheel of Names, which, if you don't know, is a free tool which allows you to create a wheel, and you can put in text or images. It's a really useful tool for language teachers, but it does come with ads, not inappropriate ads, but it does come with ads. If you have the AdBlock extension installed, it will just remove those automatically, and it just makes for a nicer browsing experience, I think. So that one is a no-brainer, I think, but you do not have to have that extension pinned or visible. It just works in the background. Okay, the next one, again, is just really useful. It's called the QR code extension. There are a number of different ones that are like this, but this is my favorite one. I just see if it's, so it's not actually along here in the list. So I just click on here, and then I just need to find it. So I'm looking for the QR code extension. So let's see if I can find it now. There it is. It's there. So I can just click on the pin option, because my browser is obviously not long enough. There it is now, and it means I can now click on that. And that has now generated a QR code for the link that I'm on right now. So this is a great way of sharing any page that you're on via that extension. There are other ways of doing this, other extensions that create QR codes, but this is the one I've used for ages. And you'll see as well, it gives you the scan a QR code option as well. So it would mean that if I had, let's say, a Chromebook, I could actually use this extension to scan a QR code. It would be a bit funny because you'd have to hold up the Chromebook sort of like this sort of thing, and hold it at the QR code to scan it, but it does give you that opportunity if you would like to. For those people that don't know as well, if you click on the share option here in the Chrome browser, you'll notice one of the options is create QR code. So I click on it like that, I can generate a QR code as well for that particular page, or any page in Chrome that works for. So that's another idea for generating QR codes. But I've been using that one for years, and it's very, very useful, I think. Okay, let's carry on. Screencastify is a brilliant tool. Maybe some people learned about this for the first time at the start of the pandemic, when maybe their school did not allow them to do live lessons using Zoom, Teams, or Meet. So they had to record their screen using a tool like Screencastify in order to create asynchronous resources for students. So recently, the model for Screencastify has changed. It used to be that you could record unlimited videos for up to 5 minutes each, but then they changed that so that you can now record up to 30 minutes, but you're restricted to only 10 videos in the free account. So if you want to have more than that, then you have to then pay. So in the past, people would do unlimited videos up to 5 minutes, which was a perfect length, really. But obviously, I would imagine that the company were finding they weren't making enough money that way, and so they've changed the model. There is also Loom, which is the next option, which is a similar type of tool. This, again, for free, allows you to record up to 5 minutes, and you can do 25 in the free account. If you apply for the education version, which you can do for free as a teacher, then you can get the unlimited version, which is fantastic, which also gives you the possibility of annotating on the screen as well. In Screencastify, you do get the annotation option as part of the free tool. But as I said, you're limited to the number of videos you can do, but you can always download a video. So you have the offline version and then delete it from your account, but still retain that offline version. So that's a way of getting around it as well. There's other ways of recording the screen as well. If you use Flip, for example, it used to be called Flipgrid. That also allows you to record the screen using a desktop or a PC, but not on an iPad. There is an iPad app for Loom, so you can actually record on your iPad, in addition to the default screen recording option, which you have as well. But what's nice about the Loom app, which essentially uses the same technology, is it will upload that video screencast to your Loom account as well. So it's a nice way of being able to do that on your iPad and have everything synced together. ScreenPal, which was shown by Esmeralda Salgado yesterday. This is another way of recording the screen, but it's slightly different. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mute my video, and I'm going to show you how this works live. So let's say I highlight the word ScreenPal like this, and I right-click this, and it says comment. I click on comment, and you'll notice that I've got two little icons here. One is for Mote, and one is for ScreenPal. So if I click on the ScreenPal one, this now comes up, and you can see that the camera is now working because I've muted the video in Zoom. So if I click start recording and paste link, it will ask me to log into Screencast-O-Matic, which I'll do very quickly because I've got lots of time. I'll click continue and then put in my password like that, live. So hopefully that will work. There we are. That's logged me in. I can now go back to here, and I can now click on this, and I can record some video like this. Here we go. Okay, so the idea of ScreenPal in this context is to give video feedback as opposed to audio feedback. You could also put this link into Wheel of Names and use it for asking questions in the target language. So it's really a teacher tool as opposed to a student tool, but the student could access the video once you've added it like this. Okay, I can also click on the scissors icon. I can press play. Okay, so the idea of, let's imagine I wanted to get rid of, say, that first second or so. I can click trim and then click done like that. And there it is. And I can click comment. And as a result of that, you can see that there's a little thumbnail now of that video. And I can now click on the play button like that, or I can even just hover and it will then play. Okay, so the idea of ScreenPal in this context is to give video feedback as opposed to, there we are. So that's how that works. So that's ScreenPal. And whenever there's a text box, you should see the ScreenPal icon appear. So that's how that one works. I will turn my video back on. There we are. And I will carry on with the presentation. Hopefully that was nice and clear. That was Jérôme Nogues who originally mentioned ScreenPal to me. And he's presented about it as well in a few presentations recently. So that's amazing. So Mote, I sort of referred to a little bit just then. Mote is for audio feedback, although you can use it in lots of different ways. The free version allows you to create 20 30-second motes per month per user. But if you pay £40 or equivalent, wherever you may be, then it will allow you to make unlimited motes. So the core way of using it starts off with, when it first came out, was whenever there was a comment box in Google Docs, Google Slides, or Google Classroom, then the mote icon would appear. You could click on that and you can record some audio feedback for the students, which obviously in the languages context, you could help with their pronunciation, or you could give them, 2 stars and a wish, etc. And the fact it's your voice, it's going to be more intimate to them compared to maybe some written feedback. And the fact is they would need to listen to the end, obviously, to get the full feedback, rather than, let's say, just looking at their mark and not really taking on board the written feedback that you may have spent a lot of time doing. So I think audio feedback can be more personal, it can be more effective. But in addition to that, if you have it installed on your device, on your browser, it means that you can also embed audio directly within a Google Slides presentation. If you're running Google Forms, then you get the option of having audio as a question type to create a listening comprehension activity. And even if you choose the multiple choice options in a Google form, then you can have audio as different responses as well in your possible answers. So that's amazing. If you click on the extension as well at the top, it gives you the opportunity of recording directly in what's called the Notepad, which means it will upload to your Mote account, copy the link to your clipboard, and then you can then paste that link wherever you want, for example, in a Microsoft Teams channel, a little bit like Vocaroo. There's also a new option, which is mote.new, which allows you to record in your browser, again, a bit like Vocaroo. There's an iOS app for Mote as well, which allows you to record on the iPad and have everything synced. If you go to the extension, you can also, in the paid version, you can enable multilingual transcription. So if you're speaking in French, let's say, it will turn your audio into text. You can also use this for generating a QR code as well. If you go to where it says My Activity, you can generate a QR code for each of your motes. So you could use this for, let's say, a QR code treasure hunt, for example. So there's lots and lots of ways in which you can use this. If you go onto the YouTube channel for Mote as well, you'll see they've had a couple of events called Moticon, one this year, one last year, and you have 2 times 3 hour presentations from different educators from around the world on how to use Mote, a lot of which are very, very applicable to language teaching. So check out their YouTube channel as well. Chrome Audio Capture is, as it suggests on the tin, as it were, it allows you to record audio live in your browser. Clearly, you need to make sure that you respect copyright when you do that. So technically speaking, you could record little snippets from radio shows and what have you played in your browser, but of course you'd have to contact the radio station to make sure that was okay and to get permission. But it does allow you to record anything that plays in your browser through Chrome. I have found occasionally this is removed from the App Store, probably for copyright reasons, and then it then appears again. But it is something that you could, in a certain context, find very useful, I'm sure. Paint tool marker for Chrome. It just takes a snapshot of your screen. Let's see if I can get it up and running right now. So here we are. Here it is. Paint tool marker for Chrome. You just click on it, and then you can then literally draw on the screen and this sort of thing. So it's just a nice way of giving some annotation, feedback. You could use it for if you, let's say you had a Google Map presentation and you were presenting this live, you could then show the directions to get from one place to another place. Obviously, the students could do the same thing. If you had an interactive whiteboard, then this could all be done live, and you could do different things like different shapes and different colors and all the rest of it. And then to take a screenshot of this, you just click on this icon here like that, and then that will then create a screenshot, and you can just click on the download option here. So that's called Paint Tool Marker for Chrome. And then there's a similar one here. Let me just get rid of that now. So if I click the quit option and slideshow again, then there's a similar tool which also allows you to annotate on the screen. This is called Page Marker. So I won't demonstrate this one live because you can see how it works. I think out of the two, my preferred option, even though I've had this one for longer, is the previous one I just showed you. This also allows you to take a screen grab and annotate over the top, which could be very useful, I think, for feedback, etc. Okay, quick share screenshot. I absolutely love this one. If I just show you this one live, if I wanted to take a screenshot, let's say of my screen right now, what I could do is I could click on the quick share screenshot Chrome extension and click on where it says take partial screen like that. My cursor has become a cross. I can then literally scan over the whole thing like this, let go. It then uploads it into a folder into Google Drive, which is also called Quick Share Screenshot. All you have to do is go to that folder. The first time you install this, right click it, click Get Link, and then change it from restricted to either anyone with a link or anyone in your organization, depending on how it's been set up. And as a result of that, I could now paste this straight into the chat like this. And for those people watching the video, I can assure you that I've pasted the link in the chat. And if anyone clicks on that, they'll be able to see the image live. So this is a really quick and easy way of sharing any image that's in your browser via a link to whoever you want to share it with. So that's also a really, really nice one. That's one of my favorite ones, I must say, by a lady called Alice Keeler from the States. Okay, let's carry on. Right, emoji keyboard. This is another really nice one. So you just simply click on the emoji keyboard option. It will then give you the search box that comes up. You search for an item that you want to talk about. You click on it, and then you can then just copy it and paste it wherever you want to paste it, be it in any sort of tool online. So it could be a Google Slides presentation or a PowerPoint online, or some people like to use this in Wheel of Names. So you can put, let's say, 3 different items in Wheel of Names, maybe to do with sport and leisure activities, and then you spin the wheel, and then whichever one comes up, the students would then have to come up with a sentence or write a sentence based on the emojis that are there, but in the target language. So that's another really nice emoji keyboard extension, which particularly lends itself nicely to languages. This one is called Magical. It's a really nice tool. What it allows you to do is it's a text expander. So what that means is, if I give you a flavor right now, if I exit the slideshow and I click here like this, there we are. And then you get this little pane that appears here. And what you do is you click create shortcut like this. You enter in a trigger. So it could be, for example, I don't know, language show live. And then you could put it, that could be your trigger. It could literally be 2 letters. And then here you write a long bit of text, which is could be an email address. I use this all the time. I just put JD as my shortcut trigger. And whenever I write that in an email account, for example, then it will then convert what I've written into the longer phrase, which would be my actual email address. But if you imagine, if you have, let's say, a letter that you're regularly sending to parents or any sort of sort of template type text, you can have a shortcut in here, write the longer text here, and then when you put in that shortcut trigger in Chrome, it will convert that trigger into that long text. You can do the same thing on an iPad as well. You can similarly have shortcut triggers. It's slightly different, but in the Chrome browser, this is wonderful. There are other tools which let you do this as well, but this one I use a lot, called Magical. In fact, I use it on a daily basis in relation to my email. So just try that out. It should save you a lot of time. So that was Magical. There we are. Let's go there, and then let's carry on. This one is sort of self-explanatory. It's called Bitmoji. If you don't know about Bitmojis, then all you have to do is install the app on your phone or your tablet, create an account. As a result of that, you can then customize your Bitmoji, and you can then choose lots of different positions and different activities that it's doing. Once you've got your account, you can then install the Chrome extension and log in with the same account, and then you can then open up your Bitmoji like this. Let me just show you. If I go to, there we are, there it is. And I can open it up like now. And if you put in a word like pose, for example, then you'll get lots of Bitmojis which don't have any text with them, which is quite cool. You can also put in a customized bit of text as well, and it will actually appear over the top of some random Bitmojis as well. So that's quite fun for doing sort of more creative ideas. That's how I got the word extensions over the top of my character on the first slide. But here I can literally just drag and drop this onto the page, and there it is. And that's how that works. Okay, so that's Bitmoji. There's so many things you can do. Also in Book Creator, you can install the Bitmoji app, and that allows you to drag and drop Bitmoji straight into Book Creator, which is also really nice for those people that haven't seen that before. This one is also really useful. It's called Clarity. It used to be called Clarity Notes. And it just means that whenever you have a YouTube clip, to the right of that, you get a little pane that appears, and you can click in that pane and just write some notes, and then have everything saved to your account. So it is free to set up. You do need to have an account with it though. And to save the notes, I think you can save up to 20 notes per video, but of course you can just copy and paste the content into somewhere else and delete a note and then carry on from there. So it's just called Clarity, and it's very useful, I think, if you like that sort of idea of making notes when you're watching a YouTube clip. So good for encouraging independence. Of course, you could split your screen and just have one note open or something, but it's just a nice little extension to improve productivity. This one is really good as well. It's called Google Keep Full Screen Edit. So it literally does what it says on the tin. If you're a fan of Google Keep, it's a wonderful tool which works on all devices for note taking. And if you're using the web browser version, it just means that when you open up an individual note, it will go full screen. So it looks a little bit like a Google Doc. It just gives you more real estate to write in, or to add images, or to draw, or whatever it might be that you want to do. So it's just a really nice one to install, and it just means that whenever you open up a note, it goes full screen. And I use Google Keep all the time for making notes and things to do and what have you. This one is also very, very good. I mentioned this one in the chat yesterday in the MFL Show and Tell session. If you didn't go to that, you can watch the recording back, as with all the other amazing sessions at the Language Show. And this one is called Video Speed Controller. So it works in relation to YouTube. You can do things like speed up and slow down, which I know that you can do natively within the YouTube player, but you get more granularity. You can have more individual segmentation when choosing the speed. You can also do things like put in a marker. So it means that when you go ahead a few seconds, let's say, or a minute or so, you can then press another key on the keyboard, and it will take you back to where that marker is. Once the extension is installed, you just click on it, click on settings, and you can then choose the keys that you use to activate the different options. It's really fantastic. And there's also an option when you speed up the video, you can press one key and it will then take you back to standard speed as well. So it's just helpful if you can cope with watching videos on, say, 1.6 or 1.7 or 1.8 speed. I personally find 2 times speed is too fast for me, but you just get used to it very quickly, and it means you can consume more content in less time, which is always useful, I think, if you like watching videos on YouTube, if you have time to do that. This one is a game changer, very, very useful in certain contexts. It's simply called Volume Master. I can probably show you this one live. Yeah, there it is. I've got it open. So this is a little bit like Spinal Tap. When you need a little bit more audio level, you can move it from, it's on 100% at the minute. I can go up all the way up to 600%. I won't do that right now because I don't want to deafen you. But if you, let's say there's a video clip on YouTube that's too quiet, you simply move the slider to the right and it will get as loud as you want it to be. So it's the equivalent of going up to 11 in Spinal Tap for those people that get the reference. But that's called Volume Master. Really, really useful in certain contexts. Okay, this one is Turn Off the Lights. This is another real goodie. If I just show you this one live, if I go to, let's just go to a YouTube clip like that, because it'll work better if I just show you live. So if I now go to my channel, there we are. There we are, move out of the way, go to channel. There we are. And let's say I click on this one. This is a recent webinar that I hosted. And if I go to the icon here, which is this one, Turn Off the Lights, and I click on it, what happens is it removes all the bits on the side, which I don't want to see, and replace it with a color. I've chosen blue. The default is black. If I double click, that's right. If I double click on the icon, I can choose any color. As I said, the default is black, but I've just gone for that sort of Twitter blue. And that's how it works. And it means that you can remove the distractions from around any video, not just YouTube clips. So welcome everybody to the latest Joe Dell, but any video at all. And it's a really nice, yeah, just a nice time saver, I think, for removing distractions. Let's go back to here. We've got about 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to whip through the last few. There we are. Use Immersive Reader on websites. I talked about this in my first session today on accessibility. It's fantastic for enabling Immersive Reader in Chrome. So check out the recording that I did for that session to see how it works. Accent Grid goes without saying. It's a way of adding accented letters quickly into the browser. If you're writing in the target language, that's easy. Close It is actually a Google Doc extension, which allows you to create gap fills quickly and easily from any text. You just paste the text into Google Docs, enable Close It by going to the extensions option, then get add-ons, search for Close It, installing it, and then you can then run it, and then you can then click on various items within your text, highlight them, and then it will then turn any highlighted sections into a gap. So easy for making worksheets and that sort of thing. Easy Accents, it goes without saying, that goes with Google Docs and Google Slides. So you get a little pane appearing on the right-hand side, which allows you to embed accented letters straight into docs or slides. And then this is a Wakelet, which I put together, which has over 60 items, all of the Chrome extensions I mentioned today, plus a few others as well. So you can click on that via the link. I have shared that on Twitter in the past as well. So that'll keep you busy. That's your homework. And just a thought as well, if anyone would be interested in asking me to do a face-to-face or an online session anywhere in the world, I don't mind what time I get up or what time I go to bed, that's all good, then I'd love to hear from you. Here's a Google Doc with 18 example sessions. It says teaching languages remotely, but they could be applied in various contexts, and you can cherry pick the elements that you particularly like. I'd love to hear from you if you're interested in that. And I'm also doing a collaboration with the amazing Esmeralda Salgado at the moment. We've done 2 webinars so far on different skills. The first one was on listening, and the second one was on reading. We've got one on writing on the 23rd of November, and one on speaking on the 7th of December. You can come along to those. It's not a free event. You do have to pay. And if you are interested in getting the recordings of the webinars, you can do that via the same Eventbrite, and the link is at the bottom here as well. So yeah, let me know if that would be something of interest. And to finish off with, here's the presentation just on time with a minute to go or 2 minutes to go. I can see some things are coming into the chat in my corner of my eye. So I will just paste the link. There you are. You've got the whole presentation there in the chat. So feel free to look at that. Feel free to get in touch with it if there's anything that doesn't work in the way that you want it to. Thank you so much for all the feedback. I think I've answered everything. If anyone does have any questions, we can still carry on because I started a couple of minutes late. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now, and I'll try my best. But thank you for all those lovely emoticons coming up on the screen right now. That's really cool. And hopefully everyone's got the link and has got the QR code. And thank you so much for your kind comments. Do bear in mind the training offer and those webinars with Esmeralda that we've had some fantastic feedback from them, and you could, if you wanted to, wait till the last Eventbrite and then actually purchase all 4 if you wanted to. And we're thinking of rerunning them as well, possibly different time zones for different people in different countries as well. So amazing stuff. I will stop sharing my screen right now. And I think I've covered everything, every lovely comment in the chat. That's amazing. I really appreciate it. This is my 3rd out of 3 presentations I've done today. So now I can just lurk and learn. I don't have to think about presenting again, but feel free to tweet about the session on Twitter as well. Feel free to carry on the conversation as well. That's amazing. And thank you ever so much to everyone for being such lovely contributors and writing such lovely things in the chat as well. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to stop the session now, and I really hope that you find the rest of today and obviously tomorrow useful, and that you check out all the recordings as well. What an amazing event this is. We're very grateful to the Language Show organizers. It's fantastic. So take care, everyone, and see you again soon online or face to face. Bye-bye.